My name is Princess Amira Al Saud, and on March 15th, 2019, I died. I was 34 years old when bullets tore through my chest during a family gathering. The doctors said I was clinically dead for 8 minutes. But those 8 minutes changed everything I thought I knew about God, about life, about myself. This is what happened when I met Jesus on the other side. I grew up behind palace walls, surrounded by marble floors and golden fixtures. Servants attended to my every need. I had 50 dresses I never wore, and jewels worth more than most people earn in a lifetime. But I couldn't leave the palace without permission. I couldn't choose my own clothes without approval. I couldn't speak unless spoken to in the presence of men. Wealth beyond measure, but I was the poorest person I knew. I was 14 years old, still playing with my younger sister's brace shoe, still dreaming of becoming a doctor and traveling the world. One morning, my father called me into his study. Amira, you are to be married. The arrangements have been made. No discussion, no choice, no escape. I remember looking at my hands, still the hands of a child, and wondering how they expected those hands to run a household. 3 weeks later, I was dressed in gold and white. Hundreds of guests celebrated below while I wept in my room. I met my husband, Prince Khalid, for the 3rd time ever. He was 41 years old. I had just turned 15. Everyone said I was blessed. Everyone said I was lucky. I felt like I was drowning. The wedding night brought terror I still can't fully speak about. That night, my childhood officially ended. The rules were drilled into me daily by my mother-in-law. Never question your husband. Never refuse your husband. Never speak your mind. Your purpose is obedience, silence, and sons. I learned to make myself small, to disappear even while standing in the room. I was punished for minor infractions, speaking too loudly, laughing too freely. Household staff watched constantly and reported everything. Once I suggested a different menu for dinner. My husband didn't speak to me for a week. In public, I was the perfect, smiling princess. In private, I was a prisoner in silk and diamonds. I perfected the art of crying without making a sound. I prayed 5 times daily, but the prayers felt mechanical and empty. I prayed the words, but I didn't feel anything. Was God even listening? Religious scholars who visited spoke only of women's submission, never about women's value, dignity, or dreams. They said paradise awaited obedient wives, but this felt like hell. Growing questions terrified me. Is this really what God wants? Is this really love? 20 years passed like this. Days blurred into years. I had 3 children, but even motherhood was controlled. I couldn't discipline them without permission, couldn't choose their schools, couldn't protect them when I needed to. I watched my daughters growing up, knowing their fate. My oldest daughter was 13. I saw them looking at her the same way they'd looked at me. The breaking point was approaching. I couldn't let this happen to her. I couldn't. Depression settled over me like a blanket I couldn't throw off. Some mornings I didn't want to wake up. Some nights I prayed I wouldn't. The emptiness inside me grew until no amount of luxury could fill it. I spent secret moments staring out windows, wondering what freedom felt like. I was 34 years old, and I'd never made a single important decision about my own life. The deepest question haunted me constantly. God, if you're real, why does it hurt so much to be a woman? March 15th, 2019 started as an ordinary Friday. We attended a family gathering at my brother-in-law's palace. Women gathered in one hall, men in another, as always. I was serving tea to my sisters-in-law, playing the perfect hostess. I remember the exact pattern on the teacups. Isn't it strange what details you remember? I heard the sound of my daughter's laugh from across the room. It was a moment of simple, ordinary life. First came shouting from the men's hall, Then gunshots, sharp and impossibly loud. Screaming erupted. Women ran in every direction where time moved like honey, slow and thick and suffocating. A figure burst through the doors, a family member driven mad by some dispute. I saw the gun rising, pointing toward us. I felt it before I heard it, a punch to my chest that stole my breath. I looked down and saw red blooming across my white dress. The strange disconnect hit me. That's my blood. I'm bleeding. This is real. I was falling, but I didn't feel the ground. More shots rang out around me. More screams filled the air. I tried to call for help, but my voice wouldn't work. My daughter's face appeared above me, her mouth open in a scream I couldn't hear. The burning in my chest turned to ice. I couldn't breathe. My lungs wouldn't work. The metallic taste of blood filled my mouth. Hands pressed on my wound. Voices called my name, but they sounded so far away, like they were calling from the bottom of the ocean. My vision began tunneling, darkening at the edges. The faces above me became shadows. Thoughts raced through my mind. I'm dying. I'm actually dying. This is how it ends. Flashes of my children's faces appeared before me. Regrets flooded in. I never lived. I was never free. I never even tried. The weight of 20 years of silence pressed down on me. God, if you're there, I'm sorry I wasn't better. I'm sorry I wasn't enough. The darkness closed in like a fist. One final thought crossed my mind. Maybe death will be the freedom I never found in life. Everything went black, but I was still aware. The pain stopped suddenly, completely. It was like taking off shoes that had been too tight for 20 years. A sensation of floating came over me, a feeling of lifting upward. Confusion set in. Am I dead? Is this death? Then I looked down and saw myself below on the marble floor. There I was, blood pooling around me, my dress ruined. My sister-in-law was screaming, pressing towels to my chest. My daughter knelt beside my body, shaking me. I wanted to tell her I was okay, that I was right here, but she couldn't hear me. Paramedics rushed in. Too late, I somehow knew. I watched them try to revive my body. I felt strangely detached, peaceful even. I should have been terrified. Instead, I felt light, free. Something began tugging at me, pulling me upward. The room grew smaller below. I passed through the ceiling as if it didn't exist. All the walls that had trapped me for so long, I just passed right through them. I rose faster, higher. The palace became a tiny golden box below. Then darkness came again, but different this time. Not empty darkness, but darkness pregnant with possibility, like the moment before dawn. I was suspended in nothing, in nowhere. There was no sense of time or space, but I was still me, still conscious, still thinking. The strangest peace I'd ever known washed over me. No pain, no fear, no rules, no expectations, no one telling me who to be. For the first time in 20 years, maybe in my whole life, I was completely, utterly alone. And it was beautiful. The darkness began to brighten, not like sunrise, but more like the darkness itself was transforming into light. It didn't hurt my eyes. It didn't blind me. It welcomed me. The light grew brighter, warmer. Colors appeared that I'd never seen before, colors I don't have names for. A warmth reached inside my chest, inside my soul. I'd been cold my entire life without knowing it. This was the first time I'd been warm. Someone was there, in the light, made of the light. I couldn't see a face yet, but I felt seen, completely, totally, entirely seen. Every thought I'd ever hidden, every tear I'd cried in secret, every moment of pain, every silent scream, he knew it all, and somehow impossibly that felt safe. My first instinct was terror. I was a Muslim woman. This light, this presence, what would happen to me? I expected judgment, punishment, but what I felt was love. not the conditional love I'd known, not the kind that said, do this, be this, and maybe you'll be loved. This was something different, something overwhelming. The figure stepped closer and became clearer. A man, but also more than a man. Eyes that held galaxies, a smile that felt like coming home. I knew who he was. Don't ask me how, but I knew. This is Jesus. This is the Christian prophet. This is God. He spoke and his voice was like music, like thunder, like my mother's lullaby. Amira. He knew my name. Jesus knew my name. You're not supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to see you. I'm Muslim. I'm Saudi. I pray to Allah. Why are you here? His response came gently. I am the one you were praying to, beloved. I heard every word. But they told me, everyone said, you're not supposed to be here. He smiled. I am the way, the truth, and the life. I am the one your soul has been crying out for. The gentleness in his voice undid me. Come, daughter. Let me show you. He reached out his hand. I saw the scars, the nail marks. These, he said, these are for you. These have always been for you. I took his hand. Warmth exploded through me. Every wall I'd built crumbled. Tears came, rivers of tears I'd held back for decades. I sobbed in a way I'd never been allowed to on earth. He held me. For the first time in my life, I felt safe in a man's arms. I wept for the girl I'd been, for the woman I'd never become, for all the years of silence. He just held me and let me cry. Come, Jesus said, when my tears finally slowed. Let me show you your life as I saw it. The light shifted. Suddenly we were standing in my childhood bedroom. I saw myself at 8 years old, laughing, spinning in a new dress. So much light shone in that little girl's eyes. Jesus watched her with such tenderness. This is who I created, full of life, full of dreams. I whispered, what happened to her? He said sadly, watch. Scenes unfolded like a film, but I felt everything again. Age 10, my father's announcement that I would marry young. The light dimming in my child eyes. Age 12, lessons in submission beginning, harsher now. Be silent, be small, be obedient. Each command felt like a stone added to my back. Jesus' grief was tangible beside me. This was never my plan for you. We watched my wedding day. I saw my 14-year-old self prepared like a sacrifice. Jesus said, I saw what you couldn't see then. He showed me my mother crying alone, knowing what awaited me. My father's guilt, quickly buried under tradition. My husband's thoughts, not of love, but of ownership. I was there on your wedding night, Amira. I wept with you. His tears fell like stars. You called out to God that night. I heard you. I was there. Scene after scene of my life unfolded. 20 years of small deaths. Each time I swallowed my words. Each time I accepted cruelty as normal. Each time I made myself smaller. I wanted to look away, but Jesus wouldn't let me. See what was done to my daughter. He said, voice like rolling thunder. See what they did in God's name. But then, surprising moments of light appeared in the darkness. The birth of my first child. I was in that room giving you strength. A sunset I had watched from my window. I painted that sky for you, hoping you'd see me in it. A bird that sang outside my prison. I sent it to remind you that freedom exists. Secret moments of joy came back to me. My children's laughter, a flower in bloom, a kindness from a servant. I was in every moment of beauty, trying to reach you. Now Jesus said, let me show you what you called marriage. We watched my relationship through his eyes. The control I'd called leadership. The abuse I'd called discipline. The ownership I'd called love. This, Jesus said firmly, is not what I designed marriage to be. He showed me something different, a vision. Marriages where partners served each other, where husbands loved wives as Christ loved the church. Which means, he asked me, sacrificially, protectively, empowering them, laying down your life for them. Women were partners, not property, equal in dignity. value, and voice. This is my design, Amira. Mutual love, mutual respect, mutual submission to me. Let me show you how I see women. Scenes flooded in. Mary Magdalene, first witness to his resurrection. I trusted her with my greatest message. Deborah, leading Israel. I made her a judge and warrior. Esther, saving her people. I put her in power for such a time. Priscilla, teaching theology. She instructed apostles. In my kingdom, there is no male or female. All are one in me. The oppression you suffered, Jesus said, voice breaking. The silence forced upon you. The girlhood stolen, the choices denied, the voice suppressed. None of this was ever my will. His anger was righteous and pure. They took my words of love and made them chains. They took my call to mutual service and made it slavery. They used my name to crush my daughters. Then came the scene I most dreaded, my darkest moment. 3 months before the shooting, the night I'd seriously considered ending my life, standing on the balcony looking down, wondering if I could just end the pain. I was there, Jesus whispered. He showed me invisible arms holding me back, a supernatural peace that had washed over me for no reason. I sent my angels to guard you. I wasn't done with your story. Why? I sobbed. Why save me? I'm worthless, broken, used up. Jesus turned to face me fully. He took my face in his scarred hands. Look inside your own heart right now. What do you see? Shame, I whispered. Unworthiness, stains I can never wash clean. That, he said firmly, is a lie straight from hell. Let me show you what I see. His eyes became mirrors. In them I saw a warrior who survived what should have destroyed her, a mother who loved despite never learning how, a woman who kept her soul alive in impossible circumstances, a daughter precious beyond measure. You, he said, are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are my masterpiece. You are loved with an everlasting love. You are worth more than rubies, more than gold, more than all the treasures in all the palaces. You are mine. Everything I'd believed about myself shattered. I collapsed in that light, completely undone. All the shame, all the guilt, all the self-hatred poured out of me like poison being drained from a wound. Jesus held me. Let it go, daughter. You're safe now. Let it all go. I wept years of tears in moments. I'm sorry, I kept saying, I'm so sorry. For what? He asked. For not being good enough. For failing. For everything. Stop, he commanded gently. There is nothing to forgive. You were the one sinned against. Finally, I asked the question I was terrified to voice, but Jesus, I was Muslim. I prayed to Allah. I never accepted you as my savior. His response came with infinite patience. Amira, you called out to God your entire life. I am that God. The God you prayed to in your darkest moments, that was me. The God you begged for mercy, that was me. The God you asked why, that was me, weeping with you. You sought truth. I am the truth. Salvation is not about the name you used. It's about the heart that seeks. But now, Jesus said, now you know my name. Now you've seen my face. Now you know the truth. What will you do with this knowledge? The weight of the question settled over me. If I accept you, I lose everything. My family, my position, maybe even my life if I return. Jesus nodded solemnly. Yes, following me costs everything, but Amira, you never had those things. They had you. I'm offering you something different, freedom, life, truth, purpose. I'm offering you me. I looked around at the light, the peace, the perfect love surrounding us. I could stay here. This pain could be over forever. No more oppression, no more fear, no more silence, just eternal peace in his presence. The temptation to say, yes, let me stay, was overwhelming. Every fiber of my being wanted to stay. But Jesus showed me something else. Images formed in the light. My daughters growing into teenagers. The same path I'd walked awaiting them. Other women, hundreds, thousands, in similar cages. Who will tell them? Jesus asked. Who will show them they're loved, they're valued, they have a choice? Who will speak the truth I have shown you? If you return, Jesus said, your life will never be the same. You cannot unknow what you know now. You cannot go back to slavery after tasting freedom. He showed me what awaited: rejection by family, loss of wealth and status, possible persecution, imprisonment or worse. They may kill you for following me, but if you return and say nothing, if you pretend, if you go back to the cage, he left it unfinished, but I understood. I'd be choosing death anyway. A slower death, a living death. Now ask yourself this question, Jesus said. What is your life worth? Is it worth more to survive without living, or to truly live, even if briefly? My heart pounded. Could hearts pound in this place? I thought of my daughters. If I go back silent, I doom them to my fate. I thought of all the women who believed the lies. Someone has to tell them the truth. I'll go back, I whispered, then stronger. I'll go back. I choose you, Jesus. I choose truth. I choose freedom, even if it costs me everything. His smile was brilliant, proud, approving. You are braver than you know, daughter, and you will not go alone. Jesus placed his hands over my heart. I am with you always, until the very end of the age. When you are weak, I am your strength. When you are afraid, I am your courage. When you are persecuted, I am your shield. When you speak, I will give you the words. You will do greater things than you can imagine, because it won't be you doing them. It will be me working through you. A sensation of fire filled my chest, not painful, but transforming. I'm marking you as mine. My spirit will live in you. You'll never be alone again. Light poured into me, filling every crack, every wound. You're going to feel different. They'll notice, they'll ask questions. Be wise as serpents, gentle as doves, but most importantly, be bold as a lion. You're my daughter, and I have set you free. It's time, he said. The light began to dim, or was I moving away from it? Wait, I cried, will I see you again? His smile filled everything. Every day, beloved, in every sunrise, in every moment of courage, in every act of love, and yes, one day you'll return here. For good, but you still have work to do. Women to free, truth to speak, love to share. Go, Amira, go and set the captives free. I was pulled backward, downward. The light faded but didn't leave. It was inside me now. Darkness returned, but different. I wasn't afraid anymore. Sensation of weight returned. Density, the heaviness of physical form. Pain came back, the gunshot wound burning, but even the pain felt different somehow. I was grateful for it. It meant I was alive. It meant I had a chance. Gasping air rushed into my lungs. The burning, stabbing pain in my chest was intense, but also beeping machines, urgent voices. We have a pulse. She's back. Doctors were shouting. Nurses were crying. It's a miracle her heart stopped for 8 minutes. My eyes fluttered open. Blinding white hospital lights appeared brightly, so dim compared to his light. Faces hovered above me, shocked and joyful. Princess Amira, can you hear us? I tried to speak. My throat was raw from tubes. Everything hurt, my chest, my arms, my head. But underneath the pain was peace, his peace. I'm alive, I croaked. A doctor leaned closer. Yes, you shouldn't be, but you are. You're incredibly lucky. Someone up there must be watching over you. Someone is, I whispered. Jesus is. The shock on his face told me everything. Did I really just say that out loud? They ran tests on me. Brain function, heart, lungs. Medically, you're a miracle, they kept saying. But I felt the real miracle inside. Something fundamentally different about my soul. It was like I'd been seeing in black and white, and now everything was in color. A joy that made no sense given I'd just been shot. A fearlessness that was completely new. The old Amira died on that floor. The woman in this hospital bed was someone else entirely. My husband stormed into the ICU, relief mixed with anger. You scared us. How could you be so careless? As if being shot was my fault. My daughters came crying, holding my hands. My mother-in-law was already planning how to hide the scandal. A shooting at a family gathering. What will people say? I looked at them all with new eyes. I loved them, but I saw them clearly now. The fear they lived in. The chains they wore proudly. My husband spoke. You'll recover at home. We've hired private nurses. The old Amira would have nodded, obeyed. The new Amira said no. Silence. Complete, shocked silence. What did you say? I said no. I'm staying here until the doctors clear me. Then I'll decide where I recover. His face darkened. You'll do as I say. Actually, I said, feeling Jesus' strength rising in me, I won't. My husband left in fury. My mother-in-law hissed at me. What's gotten into you? Did the bullet damage your brain? No, I said peacefully. It woke me up. Whispered conferences happened in the hallway. Doctors checked for brain damage, finding none. A psychiatrist was brought in. Are you experiencing any confusion? Delusions? I'm experiencing clarity for the first time in my life. At night, alone in the hospital, I asked a sympathetic nurse if she could bring me a Bible. Her shocked look said everything. Princess, that's dangerous for you. Please, I need to read it. She brought it, hidden in a bag of toiletries. I read by phone light under my blanket like a teenager. Every word was alive, electric. It was like Jesus was speaking directly to me through the pages. Passages jumped out. You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Do not fear those who kill the body but cannot kill the soul. I have called you by name. You are mine. I couldn't hide the change. I didn't want to. I spoke kindly but firmly to nurses and doctors. I looked people in the eye. I smiled genuinely for the first time in years. The hospital staff noticed. Princess, you seem different. Happier? I am, I said simply. I met Jesus. Their discomfort showed, but also curiosity. Seeds were being planted already. 3 weeks later, I was discharged, driven back to the palace in tense silence. My husband hadn't visited after that first day. Arriving home, everything was the same, but I was completely different. It was like going back to prison after tasting freedom. But Jesus' presence was tangible. I'm with you. Be strong and courageous. My husband gave his ultimatum. This ends now. Whatever happened, whatever you think you experienced, it stops. You will be the wife you were, obedient, silent, respectful, or there will be consequences. Old fear rose, but new courage was stronger. Khalid, I said, using his name, not his title, for the first time in 20 years. His shock at my familiarity was visible. I died, and when I died, I met Jesus Christ. He showed me the truth about God, about love, about what my life was supposed to be. I can't go back to who I was. That woman is dead. An emergency family meeting was called. Religious clerics were brought in to correct me. Hours of interrogation, intimidation, theological arguments. You're possessed, you're mentally ill, you're dishonoring your family, you're risking our reputation. I sat calmly through it all. I met Jesus. Nothing you say will change that. The fury, the threats, the ultimatums came. But I stood firm. They locked me in my rooms. My phone was confiscated. I was under house arrest in my own home. But I wasn't alone. Jesus' presence was stronger in the darkness. I prayed constantly, feeling his answers. Daughter, I'm so proud of you. Supernatural peace filled the chaos. They could lock my body up, but my soul was freer than ever. 3 months of pressure, punishment, isolation followed. My daughters were allowed brief visits, always monitored. My oldest daughter whispered to me, Mama, what happened to you? I met love, I told her. Real love, and I want that for you too. Her eyes showed curiosity. Hunger, What kind of love? The kind that says you're valuable just for existing, not for obeying, not for being beautiful, just for being you. Seeds were planted in her heart too. I realized I couldn't change this system from inside it. My daughters couldn't be free as long as I was caged. The terrifying decision came. I have to leave. Everything in me resisted. My children. How can I leave my children? Jesus' gentle voice answered, trust me with them. I love them even more than you do, but I'll lose them. You'll lose them if you stay too. At least this way, you can show them there's another option. The breaking point came. My husband announced they'd arranged a marriage for my oldest daughter. She would be married in 6 months. She was 14, the same age I'd been. Everything inside me screamed no. Out loud I said, absolutely not. I will not allow this. His rage exploded. You have no say in this. Then I have no place in this family. The words surprised even me, but once spoken, I knew. It was time. 2 days later, during morning prayers, a sympathetic servant who'd become Christian in secret whispered to me, Princess, there's a car waiting. We have 10 minutes. I grabbed nothing but the hidden Bible. One last look at my daughter's rooms. Jesus, protect them. Be what I couldn't be. Free them when they're ready. I walked out of the palace. Every step was terrifying and exhilarating. The gates closed behind me. I was homeless, penniless, cut off from everything I'd known. But I was free. Finally, completely, utterly free. I found shelter at a safe house for women fleeing abuse. Other women had similar stories. I wasn't alone. Jesus had provided a family. I learned to live without servants, without luxury. Best thing that ever happened to me. I found simple work with my own hands. I cleaned floors, and I was happier than I'd ever been in palaces. 3 months after leaving, I was baptized in a small underground church. The pastor asked, do you accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior? I do. I have. I always will. Going under the water, coming up to new life, new name, new identity. Princess Amira died. Sister Amira in Christ was born. The joy, the tears, the celebration. I was home. What I lost? 3 children I couldn't see for their safety and mine. Family, wealth, status, security. My name, my country, my past. Everything the world says matters. What I gained? Freedom to choose, to speak, to be. A relationship with Jesus. Intimate, real, alive, purpose. Helping other women escape and find truth. Joy that doesn't depend on circumstances. Peace that surpasses understanding. Life real, abundant life. Other women began finding me. How did you do it? How did you leave? How do you survive? I shared my story, the shooting, the death, Jesus, the transformation. I watched their faces change as hope dawned, an underground network formed, helping women escape, find safety, encounter Jesus. Jesus said I'd do greater things. He wasn't kidding. Each woman freed, another miracle. Each woman meeting Jesus, another celebration in heaven. 6 years later, I live in an undisclosed location for safety. I work with an organization helping persecuted women. I have nothing materially. I have everything spiritually. I'm still in danger. My family hasn't forgiven, hasn't forgotten. Threats come. Attempts to find me continue, but fear doesn't control me anymore. Jesus does. Morning prayers are conversations now, not recitations. Bible studies happen with other former Muslim women. We understand each other. We've walked through fire and found Jesus in it. The pain about my daughters never fully heals. I think of them every single day. I pray constantly for their safety, freedom, salvation. Secret messages come through trusted contacts. I learned they know where I am, understand why I left. My oldest daughter sent me a message last year. Mama, I'm not angry, I'm proud, and I'm waiting. Hope remains that one day When they're old enough, safe enough, we'll be reunited. Jesus promised he's working. I have to trust him with them. Look inside your own heart right now. You know that ache, that emptiness, that voice that whispers this isn't all there is? That's Jesus calling you. I know you're afraid. I was too. I know you think you'll lose everything. I did lose everything. But let me tell you something I learned when I died. Freedom isn't about having wealth or status. It's not about being able to go where you want or wear what you want. Though those things matter, they're not the core. True freedom is knowing whose you are. It's knowing you were created with infinite worth. It's knowing you're loved exactly as you are, not as you perform, and that freedom is available to you right now. Now ask yourself this question. What is your life worth to you? Is it worth living a lie to survive? Or is it worth risking everything to finally truly live? Jesus is reaching out to you right now in this very moment. Just like he reached out to me as I lay dying. You don't have to die to meet him. You just have to be willing to let the false life die. Maybe you're thinking, but I've lived this way for so long. I've said the prayers, followed the rules, been the good wife, the obedient daughter. It's too late to change. Let me tell you, it's never too late. I was 34 years old, married for 20 years, had 3 children. I thought I was too old, too trapped, too broken. But Jesus said, I make all things new. That includes you. The Jesus I met wasn't the one they warned me about. He wasn't angry or judgmental. He wasn't interested in condemning me. He was interested in freeing me. He showed me that everything I'd been taught about God was filtered through men's desire for control. The real God is about love, freedom, dignity, and worth. He's about relationship, not rules. He's about life, not death. I won't lie to you. Following Jesus costs. It might cost you your family. It might cost you your comfort. It might cost you your safety. It might cost you your life, but staying in the cage costs more. It costs your soul, your truth, your dignity, your joy. It costs the real you. So I'm asking you, just as a sister would, what will you choose? Will you stay in the beautiful prison, or will you risk everything for freedom? Will you keep saying the prayers that feel empty, or will you cry out to Jesus and let him answer? Will you live for others' approval, or will you live for the one who created you? If you're ready, it's simple. Just talk to him, out loud or in your heart. Tell him you want to know the truth. Tell him you want to meet the real him, not the version you've heard about. Tell him you're tired of the cage. He'll answer. I promise you he'll answer. He's been waiting your whole life for you to call out to him. And when you do, when you take that step of faith, everything changes. You might lose everything the world values, but you'll gain everything that actually matters. You'll gain him, and he is enough. My name is Princess Amira Al Saud. On March 15th, 2019, I died in a shooting. I met Jesus Christ on the other side. He showed me the truth about God, about love, about freedom, about myself. He gave me a choice to return and live differently. I chose him. I've never regretted it. And he can do the same for you. Don't wait until you're dying to start living. Don't wait until you're in the darkness to cry out for light. Jesus is here right now, reaching out to you. Take his hand, choose truth, choose freedom, choose life, choose Jesus, and watch him change everything. This is my story. This is my truth. This is my testimony. I pray with everything in me that it becomes yours too. May you know the love that freed me. May you experience the grace that saved me. May you find the courage that transformed me. And may you, like me, discover that Jesus changes everything. Peace be with you, beloved. You are not alone. Jesus is with you, and so am I, praying for your freedom.